Shit, this is Big Flow.
Yo, what's up? This is DJ X.
This is K.
This is G-Bo.
This is Viz.
This is Juno.
You're tuned in to GFG TV.
So we're live here at GFG TV.
You tuned in to GFG TV.
And you're now tuned in to GFG TV.
When you're tuned in to GFG TV.
West YouTube, it's your boy Big Ray West. You tuned in to GFG TV.
Yo, it's some Dash. You tuned in to GFG TV. You know what it is, man.
But do you think his path is as smart as what Jones did in taking that time to build the muscle? Or do you think Adesanya is just fighting off of his ego right now?
I don't know, man. I hope to say that he's trying to do it mathematically and correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just try to put, you trying to eat some lasagna and go fight John, that ain't you know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't the way to do it.
That's awesome.
Yo, I seen John beat the shit out of fucking, what's his name? Alexander or whatever, without training. You know what I'm saying? Being on coke binges and shit.
Like 4 days before.
You know what I mean? It went through 25 minutes of brutality.
Shit on his way to Vegas. You know what I mean?
I don't think Adesanya's up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that pasta weight and shit ain't gonna do it.
I would have to agree. I know Adesanya's a very smart guy, but I feel like he's fighting off ego, and I don't like that.
I think he's got some ego now.
Yeah,
but again, I like that he has it. Now, whether that puts you to sleep or gets you fucked up, that's the name of the game. You know what I mean?
I blame it not on him. I blame it at the lack of competition for him at 185 to keep him busy enough to stay.
No way, dude. I blame it on you got to try to make that money. Yo, Conor blew the shit out the water.
Yeah, and he's trying to be that big star. And he's
that's the only way you're going to get paid. You know what I mean?
I get it. But I'm saying the ego side of him is fighting at 205. I don't think... And I think that's just my opinion, because I really like Adesanya. He's one of my favorite fighters too.
Oh, the ego is making him go to 205.
Yeah.
I think that's without a doubt. You know what I mean? That's what. Why else would you try to gain weight or try to go to some other division and fight the craziest, best dude you ever seen?
He's
alive?
fighting for legacy, and he said he wanted to fight everybody to do.
That's ego.
So
you know what I mean?
That's ego, yeah. But I guess we'll see how it goes against Polish Power tonight.
Yeah, we will, because that man's
and then
bad.
who else? Sterling, Aljamain Sterling's.
Yo, they start the
Peter
first man stacked. Yo, they had Dominic Cruz on the prelim.
And yeah, so Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan is for the 145 pounds. No, 35 pound strap. Sorry.
Oh.
And then
Aljamain, I want him.
And then we got the beast Amanda Nunes in tonight versus a stallion herself and Megan Anderson, whatever you call her.
I don't think Megan's gonna get it done, but I applaud the,
If it was a grappling heavy effort, and
I don't even think she'd win there. I think Amanda's
Amanda's very strong.
Yeah.
But she's like on mom mode right now.
Fair enough,
you know what I mean? Hopefully
that might even be worse.
Yeah, she
you
might.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mama Bear fucking with cubs and shit like that.
Real vicious right now. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Like,
and she crazy.
Spank. You know what I mean? Like she's got the mom.
That's a bad lady.
Yeah, no, she's a bad lady. She's mess anybody.
And I want Aljamain to win, man. I just like him.
Yeah.
No other reason. None other than that.
Yeah. Sports teams. Start with football.
Raiders.
When did you become a Raiders fan?
92 when Snoop Dogg and shit came out and they started wearing Raiders. You know what I mean? And I've never left since. I got a lot of gray hairs because of it, but...
Yeah. Favorite Raiders player ever?
Probably Rocket Ishmael. Just because his name and that dude was fast on as a kid. Like, I always wanted his jersey and never got it. So, I mean, other than Bo Jackson, but that's mad, like anybody can say that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whoever heard anybody talk about Rocket Ishmael?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Baseball.
Yankees.
When did you become a Yankees fan and why?
When I left my dad's balls. Just ingrained.
Yeah.
My entire family, besides my mom, is Yankees fans, so...
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't no way around that one.
Yeah. Favorite Yankees player of all time?
Don Mattingly? Probably be my favorite.
How do you feel about the state of the Yankees right now?
I don't know, man. Rough patches, dude. Good and bad. pay attention to baseball too much, so I mean, it is what it is. But I'll always, we make it to like the World Series on there. You know what I mean? Other than that, I really don't pay attention.
They're all right though.
I like the way HB in his interview explained it. He said he's not a fair weather fan, he's a fair weather watcher, and I feel like I'm the same.
And, I'll never like another team or nothing like that, And maybe, you know what I mean, if I could get back into it, but it's like, them games are long as hell, dude. Ain't nothing going on no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Y'all took all the steroids and stuff out. Cats can't even runs like they used to.
I know, put steroids back in baseball.
You know what I mean? Come on
for
now.
fuck's sake. Make it mandatory.
I understand getting punched in the face or getting your bones broke or like playing football and like me running at you at 40-something miles an hour or whatever. Like, okay, calm that down a little bit. But as far as hitting a ball, nah, bro, we need that. You know what I mean? Like, I need homers. I need
all golfers on roids too. You know what I mean? I want to see like a 600-yard drive, dude. You know what I mean?
I can almost
That was
fuck
a
with
par 5 that you hole in one.
I can almost fuck with him less than that because I like the, you got to get, but I like the art of like trying to get out the sand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like trying to get out. There's more mathematics and like, I know there is in baseball and hitting the ball and shit.
But
and
what if
catching
he
it
could hit that
for real.
ball so hard that all those traps just don't matter? You know what I mean? Like he just carved them some bitch.
But sometimes those traps do matter, bro. You can't hit it 600 feet on like a dog leg.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
you would have to obviously make every hole like 600 yards.
okay, yes, everybody needs to be voided up because now that I think about it, it would be way fire.
It would be
You know
so
what I mean?
fire,
Like,
dog. You know what I mean?
Yo, you just have this big ass
All
Italian
these
dude out there.
World's
and
Strongest
shit,
Men and shit after they retire from World's Strongest Men, now they got something to do. They know golf. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean, yeah. Shit.
Any other sports that you're into?
Football, basketball a little bit, MMA, and BMX right now, if you want to consider that a sport. I was into that as a kid, and now my kids are into it, and that's all I do now is watch those videos, you know what I mean? That's why I ain't making beats, I haven't made no music, you know what I mean? I've been building bikes and like trying tricks. I'm all jacked up now, my elbow hurts, my hips fucked up, you know what I mean? My ankles swole, it's good though.
Yeah.
We had fun today, but yeah, man, so I guess that would be that.
So, dad life during a crisis. What are some things that you've been doing outside? Obviously, you've been doing BMX has been one thing, but what's some things you've been doing to keep the mind from going crazy?
Before that was just trying to get that album done. They got schoolwork, trying to keep them sane. Trying to keep my house clean. I got dogs, trying to keep them healthy and fed. So.
Which you do a lot with the dogs too. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, man, I breed American Bullyz. Got a couple kennel partners, 515 Bullyz. Yeah, I mean, we just breed dogs, bro. And, nice family pets. You could show them, and I fell in love. I found one of the dogs because I had a pit. Me and we always had pit bulls. So yeah, I fell in love with them, and you know what I mean.
So, I know just from knowing you obviously, but your cousin, you get a lot of exclusive gear from him. And you talk about some of the stuff that you've gotten from him, and some of the. And I don't want to put everything out there, but you've gotten some pretty cool shoes and some pretty cool
man.
exclusive stuff.
Last thing I got, like as far as clothes wise, was probably the Chunky Dunkies. So I mean those are hard to find, and if you can find them, they ain't cheap. You know what I mean? I've had like the Cork 9s, who my son's got them now. I got like the undefeated Air Force 1s on. All like my whole shoe game comes from there. Like the West Side Gun shirt I got on now. I was like, yo, let me get that. He's a barber in LA, and he's like my plug. You know what I mean? Cats got their plug. You might got a plug for sneakers. You know what I'm saying? You might got a plug for gear. I got a weed plug, you know what I'm saying? He's just my gear plug,
You've been into graffiti for quite some time. When you started doing that as a kid, is that something that built the art? Is that something that kind of tied in with what you started doing hip hop for?
Yeah, Yeah, I think they both coincided about the same time. I mean, once you start listening to hip hop and you get, you know, engulfed in it, you know, and you start looking at the culture and you're like, yo, like, what is hip hop? You know, what does it mean to be, you know, involved with hip hop or anything like that? And then you start breaking it down. You know, for me, like I said, I lived on the East Coast, so I had a lot of older heads, and, you know, especially like my cousin, who, you know, we might refer to a lot in this interview, who was like a mentor as such to me, like an older brother, like, and just, you know, opened my eyes to everything. So when he opened my eyes to, like, you know, hip hop, he opened my eyes to graffiti because he also did it. He also was breaking, so then that introduced me to that. You know what I mean? And then obviously DJing, you know, when you're listening to mixtapes. Like back in the day, mixtapes was like a DJ that would get beats from like producers or whatever. Or maybe even take like a beat from like, you know, say like the Firm put out the joint with the phone call or whatever. You get that beat and then you put like Raekwon, this person, this, you know what I mean? But Cash will write like a 16 or whatever. So like you would get to a DJ who would, or like even a song like, so like when you're listening, like for me, heavy East Coast underground shit, you know, late 90s, mid 90s, early 2000s, you know, you had a lot of cats cutting like DJ Premier, whatever. So a lot of like hooks might not be hooks, they might just have cuts on them. Or the beginning of the song might have a cut, you know what I mean? And you're like, yo, what? So then you get involved in like, yo, what's the DJ? And then you figure out that the DJ actually like kind of started everything, you know, by breaking down the fucking, you know, the breaks in the record, you know what I'm saying? And just repeating and looping those. And that's where it breaks in your drums and, you know what I mean? Like that's a whole conversation that like make, you know, that's a whole nother interview. But that like once you get involved in hip hop, if it's not just like, yo, you're a Fairweather fan, or you're like, you know, the suburb kid that's just like, oh, yo, that's hard. You know what I mean? Like, when you actually get engulfed in it and actually into it, you learn about it and you're like, yo, what are these arts? You know what I mean? And then you know, if you're an artistic person and you have the love for it and it's in your blood, then you're going to want to follow those and be like, hey, I want to try to do this too. You know what I mean? So then I fell in love with graffiti. I fell in love with the artwork. I fell in love with the expression of it. Being able to, you're not boxed into something saying, hey, draw a portrait. You know what I mean? Like, you might be able to take that portrait, interpret it your own way, and then you're putting it out there. And then at the same time, there's that, yo, we're not supposed to be doing this on the top of that building or on this train. So you have like that feeling of like, yo, let me get this done. You know what I mean? So the thing I love most about hip hop and it's like all the elements like make you feel different and make you like fall in love with that element. Like if it was, you know, the song, or if it was, you know, this or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's what I fell in love with.
And I'm not sure how many people know the GFG stuff that we've done, but 2MCs, podcast, media, I'd let you talk about it. Just tell us a little bit about that. And I'm not sure who watches the GFG stuff. I know quite a few people like Trip and all them know about it, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, it was we had a little podcast, man, and we did a lot for a while, for a little bit anyway. Yeah, we had 2MCs in the podcast. I think the main goal of that was essentially what the main goal of probably, you know, this type of deal is, which is why this is so fire. You know, we started a podcast and, you know, we wanted that, like we tried to be professional, but actually have it to where like it was a conversation. So like everybody would forget about the mic in the room, and you know what I mean? Like it would just be a conversation as opposed to an interview. They were always interviews, but like the way we freaked it was just like a normal conversation. And I think that was really dope, you know what I mean? And obviously me and you already had chemistry, you know what I mean, for knowing each other for so long, and like having like this idea and like doing it ourselves. Like literally we started, I made an album which never came out, as you know, we'll always hear in this interview. And me and James sat there for I don't know how long it was, like 3 hours, and went through every track and talked about it. And he would like kind of interview me like this and would say, hey, you know, woo woo woo, and I would explain the track. And we did that. We took like a couple takes on that. I don't remember how many we did. Never put it out. And that like gave us the idea and the drive, like, yo, we can actually do this. Because we were like, could we sit down and actually talk for that long? You know, like we've always had conversations like with, you know, with our boys or whatever, and like had fun like that. But we were like, could we do it like on a podcast, and would it hit? Would like people be interested to listen to it? And we stepped out and tried one with the Get You Some Battle League, and after like we put the first one out, and then I mean there was points where, you know, I'm so driven and I have so much like ADD and want to like get so much that like I would book like 2 or 3 podcasts a day sometimes, and like we would have to work a whole 8-10 hour day, and I'd be like, yo, we got this podcast, you know what I mean? And but then we were getting hit up for, you know, to get on them, you know what I mean? Like I remember after the first one, like, you know, me and my wife driving back from picking my kids up near Fort Dodge, and we were driving back to Johnston, and yo, I had like 7 or 8 messages like right away, like, yo, we'll do it, you know, and like everybody that like we had reached out to was like, yeah, you know. And then from off of that, like somebody else maybe who heard it or was there for the podcast, you know what I mean, would then be like, yo, could I get on, you know? And it, like, we never had trouble finding guests. It was like trouble like getting them recorded, you know what I mean?
Finding time too.
Yeah, and then that spawned off to like, from when we did the Get You Some first one, you know, we went there and had the idea to like film interviews there, which then turned into filming the battles, and even before that, like turned into James, you know, Numbar's like getting a career, you know what I mean, and like being able like to be here right now, you know what I mean, and do what he does now. So like
it was the very beginning of all that.
Yeah, like
it was before
it was
that even really
like that was a whole like that was like a lot came from just a little idea in my head. Like, you know, I don't know how far into like trying to do film or whatever, you know, James or Numbars was before, but like just, you know, there was a lot of ups and downs, and like when you try to take something you love and then turn it into a business, you know what I'm saying? Then especially you're doing that with like someone you consider your brother, you know what I mean? Like there was hardships and shit like that, but at the end of the day, it was just like, I'm always proud of what we did, and
for sure.
Like it I think it was dope. It was something I think the scene needed at that time, you know, because to be honest, man, I feel like Get You Some got a lot of, you know, we had a lot of backing to push them to like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, this is dope idea. These cats are doing this, you know what I mean? You guys are having fly visuals now. Like, you had footage before, but like just you know, the shit was dope, and nobody could not say that wasn't, you know what I mean? Because the proof is in the pudding, you know what I mean? When they started getting pushed, and we got the push from them off the first episode, you know, like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that, you know, go either way or try to, you know, say we did more or whatever. Like, it was a thing, but I know it was a movement for the city because all of that happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like all of that happened at the right time, when like the right things were getting the right push in the right way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think our podcast for a time was that, you know, at least for hip hop artists around here, you know, because it went from an idea inside of your garage about my album to everything that, you know, that we did from that.
Like
so
60 episodes?
Yeah.
60
So are these episodes available?
I don't know if they are anymore. You know what I mean? We'd have to probably go like pay to reopen the RSS feed and all that. But
it got to the point to where we had too much audio to have anything free on. Like,
yeah, because they weren't like just an hour or nothing. Like, some of them joints would be like 3-4 hours.
Yeah, there was like.
So they weren't like distributed through like Spotify and shit like
No.
that.
Well, Spotify really wasn't a thing at that point.
No,
it was more like
iTunes.
iTunes. We were on Apple iTunes as a podcast, and on SoundCloud. And then they had this other thing where like we ran a radio station for a little bit. I forget like what the name of that app was.
There was 2 different free streaming ones.
Yeah.
And
Did y'all ever have like YouTube audio uploaded?
No.
Never audio to YouTube. We had like a little couple videos. Yeah. But again, I mean, for Numbars, like we always had the idea, but it was really hard for you to be involved in the podcast and then like actually
Filming.
like try to film and get the shots. And at that point, we didn't have a way to like see both. Like he couldn't just sit with his laptop and like do everything.
This is at the very beginning.
So, like,
Well, I'm saying just upload the audio. Like,
Yeah,
just
no.
take a
No,
still
like
picture.
at that point, we never like I didn't think of like going to YouTube for the audio.
Yeah.
Because we played people's music inside the podcast. Like, we would open the podcast with a track. Now, if you just took a beat, you know, like, off a, you know, whatever beat streaming service and didn't pay for it, or you know what I mean? Or maybe you did pay for the beat, but that dude had a sample in there from Marvin Gaye. You know what I mean? Then, you know, so we didn't do that. We kept it strictly for, like, iTunes and SoundCloud so that we could play their music.
Absolutely.
You know, because not everybody has all rights to everything. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, even as a producer, if I sample something and sell you the beat, I'm still telling you, like, yo, like, if this is not a collaborate, like, you're just buying this beat, like, you're responsible for the sample. You know what I mean? Like, you might have to clear that.
Yeah.
If it's, you know, I dig really obscurely, so I don't ever know if that would ever be, you know, a problem. But say, like, if I did something, like, sampled, like, a Marvin Gaye horn or something, it's like, you know, like, the Marvin Gaye family's gonna know. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pharrell and shit don't get away with it. You know what I mean? So then it would be like, that's on you. You gotta clear the sample when you put the song out. You know what I mean? Like, any revenue that you get, you gotta deal with that artist on how you split that. But, that's why, like, for YouTube, as far as audio, I was always the one to be like, nah, I don't want to put the audio on YouTube. I want to keep it right here. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, in my head, we were, like, trying to build a fan base. And I'm like, I don't want to keep sending people, you know what I mean? Like, if we're going to have YouTube, let's do the video. But then it was so hard. Because James wasn't just, like, the other guy there. He was, like, it was a host and a co-host. But, like, sometimes James might take over the whole... Like, the whole podcast might be James as like he's doing right now. Like, he had more of the... Because I was more like your boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just sit here and chill, and then he would have, like, some more intricate, like he's doing right now, like that gift. You know what I mean? So, to do that, and then to try to get the film in the correct angles, and, like, that's impossible.
And we weren't ever at a solid location, so instead of, like...
Yeah, we're at somebody's house.
We went to them. Cause, like,
that's another thing that set us apart, is we was mobile.
Yeah.
We was like, yo, we'll come to you to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't
So-
know if mama gonna like that shit now.
yeah. So a lot of times we would go to them. Sometimes they'd come to us.
Yeah.
But it was not a solid location. So if we had like a studio, that could have taken that stress off because I could have set something up. But trying to free set something up and have lights, and it just never worked out. Never did like it. And I think moving, you know, forward into something like that, this style setup, you know, with having a singular location and having an ability.
You got to, man.
To control lighting and to control.
Yeah, you got to. Otherwise, everything is, you know.
And this too is a solid stated camera too that we do, you know, here, which a little bit behind the scenes for you guys, but. And then I use the B-roll to mix up the footage, and sometimes I will do an iPad, but I'm such a stickler for quality that I like my big cam, so I like using this one.
Right.
I like the quality to be nice. I like to make it look nice, so that way we present ourselves in the state, you know, as professionals as we are, because you know what I mean. People will critique us for anything.
Yeah.
West YouTube, this your boy Big Ray West. You tuned in to GFG TV.